Today we're going to be looking at the story of the Hairy Hands. Located in Devon, they are said to be the cause of a number of deaths and injuries. We're looking at the stories of these deaths and injuries and the potential explanations of what was causing the Hairy Hands or what they could be. Without wasting too much time, let's Located in the heart of the Dartmoor National Park, in between Two Bridges and Princetown, for over 100 years, the stretch of road known as B3212 has had countless reports of the Hairy Hands. Stretching back 100 years to the 1910s, numerous drivers and cyclists have reported a pair or the handlebar of the cyclist attempting to force the road users off the road into a ditch. The majority of people who've claimed to encounter the Hairy Hands only walk away with a few scratches. The first serious incidents of the Hairy Hands occurred in June 1921 when E.H. Helby, a medical officer who worked at Dartmoor Prison in the nearby town of Princetown, was riding his motorbike with two young girls in his sidecar. There are conflicting accounts of who the two girls were, with some sources saying it was Helby's own daughters, and other sources claiming they were in fact the daughters of the governor of Dartmoor Prison. Helby, travelling on his motorcycle with the two young girls in his sidecar, were travelling along the road, where Helby lost control of his bike and was unable to regain control. He shouted at the two girls to jump before the bike crashed, with the two girls surviving the crash, but unfortunately Helby died at the scene of the crash. A few weeks later, two more crashes occurred along the same area, with the first being another motorcyclist and the second being a coach driver. Thankfully, these two crashes only resulted in minor injuries, but the incident that would garner the nation's attention would occur in the same year on August the 26th. An army captain on his motorcycle crashed. He claimed that a pair of invisible hands had taken hold of his bike and forced him off the road. Due to his job, his account was deemed more credible by the press, leading to national attention. Another alleged encounter with the Hairy Hands, which there is no stated date for, but apparently author and journalist Ruth Indall told Michael Williams that a pair of hands had grabbed his steering wheel and he had to fight control of the car, avoiding a crash. Ruth told Williams not to publish the story until after his death to avoid ridicule. However, not all the stories about the Hairy Hands occurred on the road, as one incident in 1924, when a woman who was staying in a caravan on the moors nearby to the powder mills of her husband reported that a pair of hairy hands attempted to gain access to their caravan during the night, only disappearing after she made a symbol of the cross with her hands. In September 1947, another serious crash occurred near Cherry Brook Bridge, when a young couple who were travelling back to Exeter on their motorbike after visiting Princetown. The girlfriend had warned her partner to drive slowly as they had had a few drinks before they left. As the motorbike approached the bridge, he lost control of the vehicle, with the woman being flung out the sidecar into a ditch, while the boyfriend crashed directly into the bridge. He was rushed to Tavistock Hospital, where he unfortunately died 2 days later. So, was this one a result of drink driving or the Hairy Hands? Apparently, at the inquest that followed, the local PC of Princetown stated that the couple were perfectly sober when they had left Princetown. Whether you believe this is the Hairy Hands or not is up to you, as it can be argued perhaps the PC was trying to cover for his mistake, or perhaps they were perfectly sober and it was an unfortunate accident that was caused by the hairy hands. The next reported incident of the hairy hands occurred in 1962. Florence Warwick, who was visiting Dartmoor, stopped her car to check where she was on a map, only for her to look up from a map to find a huge pair of hairy hands pressed against her windscreen. She would later make it to the police station, where in tears she would relay the event to police.
Now, can anybody in here tell me how this happened?
I can, sir. And if you don't stop that, you could go blind.
There has been a number of attempted explanations to the reason of the crashes along the road, some ranging from the supernatural to more conventional explanations, which we'll be looking at now. One of the theorised possible origins of the hands is that of a motorcyclist who was involved in a crash where he lost both his hands and died in the process, and now haunts the road. While another theory suggests that they originate from a former prisoner at Dartmoor prison in the nearby Princetown who was executed. But the story that gains the most attraction is that they belong to a worker at the Powder Mills factory which produced gunpowder and closed down in 1897. The worker was apparently well known for his large and hairy hands. He would eventually be left a large inheritance which allowed him to retire. After holding a celebration with his colleagues for his retirement, he set off to claim his tools from his former employer drunk. In the process of this, he would cause a violent explosion due to him forgetting to change his boots when entering the factory, causing a reaction with the granite floor and hobnails. Apparently, all that remained of his body was his hairy hands still holding on to his tools. Adding to this, there are records showing that the powder factory did in fact experience a number of explosions that resulted in several deaths in 1951 and another one in 1857. But what are the less superstitious explanations? Well, there are a number that attempt to explain it in more conventional ways. One theory suggests that large mineral deposits are having a magnetic effect on steering wheels and the handlebars of vehicles, arguing that the minerals in the steering wheel and handlebars act as conduits causing an electric shock that explain the strange sensations by drivers along the road. But this has not been confirmed due to a lack of interest in investigation, as it's been argued it's not very likely to occur. The most widely believed explanation is that the accidents are caused by people who are unfamiliar with the road driving down the narrows too fast. Adding to this is the fact that a chamber was discovered in the road's surface after a number of investigations which apparently reached dangerous levels in places. This does explain the number of crashes along the road, but doesn't explain the hands that a number of people have reported seeing. Perhaps the condition of the road caused the crashes that led people to create the story, attempting to explain why the crashes were taking place, causing people to have a pre-subscribed idea of the hands, causing people to be on high alert for them, mistaking ordinary objects for the hands. Or maybe some sinister, unexplainable force does haunt the road. Thank you for watching this episode of Pigeon Lectures. If you have any thoughts about the video, about the origins of the hands, or if you believe it or not, let me know in the comments below, or leave any questions down and I'll try and get back to them. The next video should be coming out in 2 weeks or so, so I'll see you then. Thank you for watching.